I would say with me, it shaped me to be who I am today. I mean, I'm not the easiest person in the world to get along with, but um, you
I
know,
was expecting to see your wife pop up in the back
I,
too, but
I I know I was waiting. She's like, yeah.
Out on the water, we cast our line, chasing that big one. It's fishing time. From dawn till dusk, we're ready to go. Quick fishing, come join the show.
I'm not sure how long this will take. I've got questions. I might use them, I might not. And just kind of see where it goes. Before we get into Barracuda proper, I guess I should introduce yourselves. It's Jared and Jeff. Jeff, I wasn't even sure existed. This is the first time I've actually seen him, so I thought maybe he was like a Yeti, in grainy pictures here and there. And so it's
He,
nice to meet you.
he's the ghost in the background.
What got each of you fishing, and what is each of your best fishing memories?
Go for it.
Pond hopping as a kid got me started in Florida. First time you catch a Florida largemouth, you never want to stop.
I suppose they're nice and big down there too, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's the first place I ever saw a 10 pounder was come out of a pond. It's nothing
Jeez.
like throwing frogs through lily pad ponds in the back of the woods somewhere. That'll get your heart racing and get you going. So
I
never
can
had a
see
boat
that.
ever growing up. So it was always pond hopping, and it was a lot of fun doing that, and fishing, and just the challenge of the different weather and the different ponds with different colors and different water clarities, and just learning to catch the fish were just so much different in every pond, even though they'd be in the same neighborhood.
Did somebody teach you, or did you just kind of like pick it up on yourself?
I'd say I learned a little bit from my dad, but mostly he was a cat fisherman, so I did a lot of catfishing when I was younger. Just not downplaying catfishing. My brother's really, really good at it up in Northeast Ohio and does a lot of tournaments, but catfishing just was never the same challenge to me as bass fishing. So
Gotcha.
it's just not the same unique challenge. But there's I used to go fishing with dad, and we'd spend when I did have a boat and got older in the military, then we'd spend first part of the morning trying to bass fish, and if that wasn't going easy enough for dad, then we parked and started catfishing. So catch a few brim or throw some chicken liver on there and go after catfish. There's nothing like catching a 30-pound flathead.
I
It's a
can't
lot.
even imagine.
Yeah, so it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
You see some, I mean, some of those catfish are so ugly. You see some of those guys like holding these things, they're just
Oh, yeah.
massive. And I'm
Unreal.
like, geez.
Yeah, wait till you catch one on a rattle trap when you're in the middle of a bass tournament.
Yeah.
That's like take you for a ride, and your buddy's holding the net until you see it rolling.
How about you, Jared?
God, bass fishing. I just recently, I'd probably say 2019 is when I started getting into bass fishing.
Okay.
Used to do a lot of saltwater fishing with my grandfather got me into it, my dad. But my grandfather, he was a big trout guy, so he would travel the world and he'd go to New Zealand, British Columbia, and all those places
Really?
trying to get the trophy trouts. Yeah. So that always sparked my interest, but I never got into trout fishing. Pretty much stayed deep sea fishing, halibut, barracudas, lingcods, that kind of stuff. But one of our ambassadors, his name is Eddie Kidd. He's the one that turned me on to bass fishing. He does a lot of the Bassmaster Classic tournaments. He just got his boat going, so he's a boater now. He just completed a 2-day tournament with MLF. Um, but yeah, he's the one that got me into bass fishing. I just asked him one day because I seen his Facebook page, and it showed him in his jersey, and a lot of the pictures of him holding bass. Yeah, so I asked him, told him I wanted to get more involved in bass fishing, and it just went from there. Ended up buying a boat. Actually, at that point in time, I think I ended up going through 3 or 4 boats before I ended up with the one I have now, and just been doing it ever since.
So did you send them the bill for getting you hooked on that,
Yeah,
or?
I know, right? I should send him my
Yeah,
monthly payment for my boat payment.
it's, I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but you know, I've got a whole room here in my office. It's nothing but fishing gear. I've got fishing gear for sale out front. I mean, you see my office here, and it just like the more you do, the more you want to do, and it's like, well, if I just learn this technique, but I need to get this to do that, and yeah, it's a drug for sure.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
you got to
So
see
what role?
yeah, you
Sorry.
got to see this guy's garage at home.
Yeah.
Miniature Bass Pro Shop there.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it that do the tournaments and have, 20 poles at a time on the boat and probably 200 in their garages, and I mean it's a lot of stuff, huh?
Oh yeah.
And you can only use one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was asking you a couple months ago, Jared, and I finally bought my first medium heavy rod
Yeah.
not too long ago, and we fished that up at Leech Bass. This first real bass fishing I did, just on the craws in a Texas rig, and oh my god, I mean, I was hooked. We spent 3 days solid doing that,
Right.
just pulling them out of weeds. I mean, it was just such a good time.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you guys, as far as Barracuda goes, what's your relative roles in Barracuda?
Well, I have a full-time job and I let Jared do all the work. So that's pretty much what happens. It started out, I was a lot more involved before Jared kind of got me into this, and I was in love with first time making baits and him showing me how to do it and all the stuff he puts together behind the scenes. That's amazing on what it takes to make a bait. And then the first time you catch a fish on a bait that you helped make or that you made, it's pretty amazing. And then to watch my kids, like he showed my kids how to make baits and they made their own color and they went out and caught fish on their baits. I was hooked from then in. Probably just don't have enough of the time and dedication to it that Jared does with me working all the time. So my involvement's, as needed when I can on weekends and things when Jared calls and needs more help. Otherwise, everything's done by Jared.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're fishing, because you still tournament fish actively, right?
Yeah, I've slowed down over the summer right now, but yeah, just other things going on. But yeah, still tournament fish on my second real tournament boat. Really, just upgraded to another Bass Cat.
So are there any opportunities to uh, promote Barracuda while you're fishing, or is it just so saturated with stuff?
I've heard South Texas is different. I don't know if that's true or not, but we pass out a lot of bait and give it out. That's kind of, Jared gives me a lot of samples, a lot of different stuff just to go try. And so we'll give that out to different people we boat with or friends. Cause to be honest, a smaller business, it's more who you know and who you can talk to just kind of pass baits around. Cause most of these guys are throwing what they want to throw and only what they want to throw, especially when it comes to plastics.
Yep.
We've tried to, break into some of the store market, but it's just it's an extremely tough market, and it appears the economy is not as strong as it used to be the same.
And not to mention the amount of bait makers that are out there is just ridiculous. So
That's what I was going to say.
I'd probably say 8 out of 10 people that you meet on social media, they're either bait makers or they know people that are making baits.
Yeah.
A lot of guys in the tournament you meet, like if it's a local small tournament, they're like, nope, I already make my own, or I got somebody that pours my own. They buy one or two molds and they're like, that's all I need. That's the only bait I care about. And they use the same bait over and over and over. A lot. Even the box stores here, like Academy, did away with two whole rows of all their fishing equipment and downsized almost nothing. So I don't know if that's happening everywhere across the Southeast, but I think this water drought we have is just brutal for the market right now here.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, talking about so many bait makers, and there's as the further I get into this too, I mean, you guys are working to make a business out of this, right? And wanting to make some money, or at least break even and put a little bit in your pockets. But there's probably 95% of the people that are doing it are just selling it here and there on Facebook and don't really care if they make a dollar or anything, because they like doing it and they do it here and there. And so it makes it kind of tough to compete against that too, I think.
It does.
It definitely floods the market on that for sure.
Yeah, it does. And the only thing how you can really compete against that is I'd probably say the variety of baits that you have, variety of baits, variety of colors, which everybody knows if you're a bait maker, colors, it's like the rainbow. I mean, it's every color imaginable that you can make, so it's just up to your, whatever pops into your head, whatever you want to make that day.
Yeah.
But you just got to set yourself apart to get your baits out there.
I'd say the big thing though is Jared started this for the love of just making the baits like you're describing, and that's all. Like, we've pushed it more as a business, but no one's here with the expectations that we're going to put $1 million in the bank. Jared does this to put a quality product out there and put it in somebody's hand to catch a fish, right? He wants you to catch an 8 or 10 pound bass on his bait. The difference between those folks and us, I think the biggest thing is not just from like Jared's recipes he's describing, from like the colors. It's the softness and hardness, the variations in the baits, the type of baits that we make. Like your average person at home, like even one of our guys in our club doesn't make baits anymore that used to pour his own one bait that he always wanted. He just orders from us now because you don't have all of those supplies. It's just too expensive. There is no real markup for a home bait maker. It's not, we're not, Zoom. I can't produce 10,000 for less than a penny a piece to sell and make a huge profit. Like I just can't do it. And that's not what we're trying to do. So I think staying true to what Jared started in this company before I was involved was providing local fishermen and a little bit further reach now with the internet, an opportunity to have a quality bait in their hand that doesn't just rip apart after one fish, that will continue to be fishable, and
or just being able to find the baits, because that's kind of what got me started with this, because we went to Choke Canyon, and the guide that we went out with had told us that if we could find this specific color bait, and it was by Yum Baits, one of their cranberry worms. He said, if you can find them, stock up on them, because they're key, one of the key baits out here. So when we left, I went and tried to find some. Just nobody had them. They were out of stock online, out of stock at the stores, and that's ultimately what triggered my want to be able to get into this.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool stuff. So, both of you guys are ex-military, correct?
Correct. Jared's
Army and Jeff, your Air Force, right?
Yep.
So which is best?
I don't hold it against him, but in my personal opinion, neither one are. And the reason I say that is when we were in Afghanistan, we had the Air Force and the Navy both looking out for us. We had satellite operations going on, TAC ops and special ops going on as well. They all kind of worked together as a joint task force while we were out there. So they were the eyes in the sky for us while we were on the ground. So there's some things that the Air Force does that the Army don't do, and it's like, well, why the hell does the Army not do this? Because they take care of their soldiers, they don't take care of us. But especially their dining halls.
If you want AC in the dining hall, just come on over. But no, hey, that's a great question. But I'll let everybody in on a little secret. The services give each other crap between each other, but when it comes to who's the better one, when it comes to the public eye, we're the same, right? We can't accomplish anything without each other, and none of that's changed. Yeah, none of that's changed even today. If you look at the integration of the Space Force. So you got space, you got Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy. Like my first deployment was all joint special guys from the Army, and it was hoorah, a lot of fun. My next deployment was all Air Force, and it was still fun, just more rules and different. But
the guys that joined the Air Force wanted to be a part of the Army, because without the Army, the Air Force wouldn't be there.
So. We were birthed from the Army. Yeah. They thought they were getting rid of the bad stuff, and they gave away the good stuff. So
yeah. So ultimately, it's different patches, but same team, right?
Pretty much.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate I was going to ask you if you give a recap of your service. You gave a little bit. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on that, or do you guys miss it, or are you glad to? I know you've got some nagging.
Yeah, biggest thing with me is the camaraderie. I still reach out and talk to brothers that I served with, and but it's not the same. Being able to link up every single day and doing our job and hanging out afterwards. It's especially on the weekends. Can't really do that now. But I mean, unless you got your friends and family around you. But I'd probably say that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I couldn't leave it be, so I'm still tied back into it. I came back as a government civilian, so I still work with airmen every day, and everyone. That's why Jared laughs. He's like, "Yeah, Jeff's not available because he won't go home every day." I think
he's working for free right now, so
Yeah, I'm one of these accepted furloughed guys, still working every day for free. But
Nice.
yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't. I work with a lot of folks that are retired service folks, and I don't. It's a tough adjustment. Like I couldn't fathom not waking up and going to work every day and being involved in that type of community and that
Yeah.
involvement. So I don't. It's not for everyone, but I don't know how to. I tried to leave it for about a year as a contractor and still be somewhat tied in, and I couldn't do it. So it's weird.
I think for me it was a little bit easier because I spent 21 years in the Army, but my last 6 years I was in recruiting duty. So I was away from the military installations. I was basically a civilian in a military uniform ultimately. So that 6 years kind of broke it broke it up a little bit for me to make it easier to transition from.
Separation.
Yep. So
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So how has that shared military background shaped who you guys are today, and how do you think it influences your business and your decisions in business?
hmm, well, I would say with me, it shaped me to be who I am today. I mean, I'm not the easiest person in the world to get along with, but um, you
I
know,
was expecting to see your wife pop up in the back too, but
I know I was waiting. She's like, yeah.
We call that Army grace.
Yeah. Um, but it keeps me driven, especially when I see orders come in. It's like, I get excited. It's like I gotta get on it, gotta get on it, especially if they come in on the weekends. My wife's like, well, we have plans. So I was like, well, let me get this done first. It kind of drives that discipline of me, to make sure that I meet the expectations.
yes.
But as far as business wise, there's it could do a lot more.
I'll save him. He's selling himself short.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, the not being in the Army but being in the service, I think the two things that we do differently in the business that a lot of businesses today don't do is the dedication to the customer. So no matter what Jared does with a customer, he makes it right. If you get a bag of baits and you find error in the bait or something wrong with the bait, Jared's going to take care of it no matter what. Like he's going to take care of the customer. Like,
So we got a farm here.
yeah, I think that comes from the military upbringing we have and holding ourselves accountable and responsible for not just a product, but the way that Jared communicates daily. And I try to interact on the way he has the business suite app set up so that I can talk to customers too, is responsiveness, getting back to customers, follow through with customers. Not like Jared's not the guy that's going to get a message at 10 o'clock at night just because he's rolling over in bed. He's not going to answer the question and say, I'll get it tomorrow. He's going to answer the question. Like that's just, I don't know. That's just not the mentality of business people today and a type of business. And
Absolutely.
like back to the expectations things, we know we're not going to make $1 million, but every little customer that's interested in a bait, that's what we're trying to reach, that audience that can't maybe afford to go buy a bunch of baits at Academy or Bass Pro that's charging way more than what we are. And that's not what we're trying to do. So we want to cultivate that relationship and build those customers. And Jared does that extremely well. And that comes from that military background because none of us have been to some special business school to do this. So,
Get that hammer on the head, man.
yeah.
Very nice.
I need to have you around more often.
I won't give him a hoorah. Yeah, man.
So did you guys meet in the military, I'm assuming, or deployed together?
Actually,
No?
we met at a tournament out on Choke Canyon. It was for Logan Crow, his dad.
Oh, that's right. That's where we first met. It was a charity tournament. And I was a customer. I bought some baits.
Yeah. He was actually, you were putting it on, weren't you? Or you were part of it?
I was part of putting it on.
Putting it on.
You guys are probably too young to remember the old Remington ads of the Remington shavers where I liked it so good I bought the company.
Yeah.
Same thing. Well, that's cool. So how did Barracuda Baits come to life, and kind of what was the spark that got it going?
Going back to what I was mentioning before about the baits, not being able to find them on the shelves, or being able to order them. I talked to my cousin and I was like, hey, why don't we just do some research, try to play around, see if we can just make our own. And so that's what we did. And oh God, I think I probably went through 4 or 5 different plastisols, and figuring out the ins and outs of it, playing with everything. But when I finally got to where I'm at with Dead on Plastics, which is who we use, and when I tried their product for the first time, it was night and day versus what we've been using. One, the smell, the fumes from it, but two, the biggest thing was the durability of the plastisol once it cured. Um, I was able to come up with, oh God, 10 different colors of worms, 5-inch stick baits, and took them out and was just screwing around with them, in every different way that I can hook them, put them on a hook, out at Choke Canyon. And Choke Canyon's a tough lake. But when I finally got out there and started throwing them and started catching fish on them, that just drove me even more, because it was the coolest thing in the world. But once we started digging more into it, comparing what we were making versus what I already had on my boat, or I'm not going to bring up other companies' names, but the bigger companies.
My whole warehouse.
Yeah. Just seeing the difference between the two. I don't want to be like theirs. I want ours to be. I want ours to be able to stand out. And that was the whole thing, because I got tired of replacing it after I got a bite, or hook one fish and it's all toward crap. And, it's like I'm wasting money. I'm going through a whole bag of baits, in a couple hours, if the bite's good, whenever I'm out. And that's what drove me. And that's what drives me till today.
And we didn't practice in a stocked pond. Choke Canyon's not stocked.
No,
So
yeah.
you got to go catch
You
it.
actually had to work for it.
Yeah.
You got to work for it on certain days.
And while you're out there, you got to stay away from the gators and all that kind of stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Some 14-foot
So
gators in the lake.
your guys' color palette is very much on the natural side. I mean, there's some bait companies you like look at their colors as a whole. There's definitely a lot of really bright stuff in that, and you have a lot of subtle differences. I mean, like there was a few that when they came in and I was photographing them, I couldn't tell them any different. Like the watermelon red flake in like a thick treat worm or something, and the smoked watermelon, but then you get them in the sun, you get them in the water, and these subtle differences, and they're just they're like so beautiful. I kid with everybody that comes in. I always show them the 13-inch treat worm. I'm like, this is the most fun to play with as a person. Like, I just love these things. So when we do the sample bags, when people sign up, and they say what kind of fishing they're doing, if they do any bass fishing, there's always one of those goes in the sample bag that goes out with it, because they got to go open that up and go, holy crap.
Right.
Yeah. So
Got a hook do I use this with?
yeah. So do you consider like the color formulations and the bait formulations more art or science?
Yeah, I'd say it's an art for me.
Yeah, I won't tell you how he makes some of those colors. He's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'm like, hey, I accidentally did too much. He's like, I'll be all right. Stir it around there.
Okay, huh? Stir it up.
I'm trying to think how many colors we have.
Nice.
Maybe we're trying to make something else.
Nice.
Yeah,
So where'd the name come from?
from my boat, actually. Because when I've got a 2018 Ranger Z521, and it's silver and white, gray and white, something like that. Yeah, got some black on it. And took my wife out on one day. She goes, "I'm gonna call your boat the Barracuda because it's fast." And it looks like it's got the same colors and everything. So when I was trying to come up with the name of the company, I was like, looked at my boat, does it Barracuda Baits,
There you go.
and it stuck. And I came up with the logo. You helped out with that a little bit. I think our logos came a long way from the very first. But
yeah, a lot of people like the stickers, put them on their boat. So
Yep.
Worked out well. And then he's got the best hat, but he won't give anybody else one like it.
Yeah. I mean, they're not cheap, right? I mean, I got this and one other one made, and it was like $90 for 2 hats, right?
Yeah. He's got the rib.
I've got that one.
Nice.
and it's got the
The weather.
the weathered
the
look
distressed
on it.
stuff.
And, yep.
Yeah, stress look.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely not cheap. It's just got to find the right place and the right price.
Yep. So how much of what you guys make and the colors and which profiles you have comes from your guys' experience versus like listen to other anglers and like what they're looking for or what they like, that kind of stuff?
No, actually, it's pretty simple. Because I'm the one that gets all the orders, and people are always asking me about, hey,
See a lot
can
of
you do this?
comments, but
But I would probably say 95% of everything that we make is just us. That other 5% is people, reaching out. Hey, can you make this? Can you make this? Um, you know, what colors can you do to resemble this? That type of thing. So,
yeah, I guess I took that question a little different. I guess
I think was that what you were asking?
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I took it a little different, as in like most of the probably still the same like percentages, 95% of the orders are Jarid matching or flavoring a bait based on a customer's order. So it's all, Barracuda Baits versus those very few orders we get. They're like, please only match exactly like what we're asking for. And some of those are usually the secret profile people that don't want their bait ever made or shipped to anyone else. Because we have customers like that as well, which it's kind of hard to advertise that. So we keep, we tell people that just because there's sensitive fishermen still that don't want their, that worm only works on this lake and only this color, and no matter what it works at the time.
Mhm.
Like, sure, buddy,
Yeah.
what did you say? Like,
Yeah.
like,
If anyone ever finds out about it, I'm out of business.
Yeah.
what's really funny is like we making the baits or doing whatever, and the time like if I come over and he's got a huge order and we're making baits and he's like, hey, do you want a shot of this? And I'm like, no, I'm tired of looking at it. Like I don't even like I'm not interested in it's different, but it's like no, because every fisherman's got their confidence in like what baits they're throwing. So it's like I only throw, probably 6 or 7 different baits that Jarid makes, and they're only his color variations of baits. Like I think there's only one color I order that's kind of standard that he makes. But yeah, red bug. Otherwise, everything else I have is like I just tell Jared like, hey, whatever, I need some stick baits and watermelon red, just make them for me, and he makes his color watermelon red, and that's what I throw because he knows where I fish and what works.
Yeah.
And
Not every bait maker has the same color.
Yeah.
My watermelon red is going to be different from this person's watermelon red, and so on and so forth.
I didn't have this as a question, but it just popped into my mind. Dead On just came out with the dopamine color.
I got it.
So everything's dopamine. What does that bottle of colorant cost?
I just ordered it actually.
Yeah.
I want to say it's $9.99.
Okay, so not too bad, man.
No. Dead On Plastics actually has some decent prices. Some I wish would go down, but
Phenomenal product though.
Yeah.
They definitely seem to be the standard, don't they?
Yes. Well,
For
Dead On Plastics and Calhoun's have been the two that I know that are the go-tos.
Nice. Yeah,
I actually have coming today, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Oh,
there you
$6.99.
go.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not a big bottle. It's you've seen the bottles. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's a purple and green color morph.
Yeah, you guys end up with so much invested in colors and flakes and molds, and I ran into a guy locally here in Cedar Falls that pours, and I went over to his shop a couple weeks ago, and he had like I think 16K tied up in just molds. Like holy shit!
Got one bit.
Yeah.
That's not hard to do.
Right.
After watching Jared suffer through a bunch of this pouring, and I'm not a big fan of inefficiencies in time, so then we got a mini shooting star. I was like,
we got the
full size.
We got the full size shooting star.
We had to wait a while on the wait list, but it was worth it. And then
that cut time down dramatically.
And Jared built a pretty cool, clamps with the air compressor and stuff, so he can shoot more. It made it extremely proficient. So Yeah.
Yeah, I think with those molds, I mean, we've got what, over 55,
Yeah. I don't know.
55 different, yeah, 55 different baits now. So some of those are have 2 molds to them.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say some of you probably have multiple
Yeah,
copies of, right?
right.
You figure on average $100 a pop, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
It adds up quick.
Yeah, yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Um, so this is shifting gears a little bit here. Fishing culture is always evolving. What excites you most about where fishing is heading, or anything that gives you trepidation about where fishing is heading? I know there's like 50 topics in the news all the time these days. So,
Well, if it wasn't for this cold, I'd be fishing a tournament today, which is a no forward facing tournament on one of the
Okay.
lakes I fish every single month. And I was extremely excited about going to it because my buddy I was going to fish with he's I wouldn't call it like on fish, but he doesn't fish with any, let's just say really old electronics, but he knows the lake really well, how to fish it well, and I fish it well with him all the time. So I was pretty excited about it. I mean, I have 3 forward facing sonars on my boat, so I'm not a big proponent necessarily of it or against it. I like it to help locate fish and stuff like that. So um I think the rule changes, the turmoil, everything is creating more avenue for potentially pushing more bait out there, because there's going to be a back and forth of like, do I buy bait or do I not buy bait kind of thing. So it gets you back into the traditional plastics fishing. So hopefully that'll push more bait than, instead of like I love it if you want to order 500, tracers, like let's go for it. Like we'll make bait all day long for you. But I'm not opposed to anybody that wants any color bait and what they want, but I'm not a fan of jigging a minnow in front of the screen. So I'd rather, I catch just as many fish dragging a 10-inch worm as I do trying to jig a minnow, because I'm just not that good at it. And unfortunately, with a full-time job, I don't go on the water 2 or 3 days a week. So it just doesn't. And that's a shout out to those guys. They put in the work, they put in the time, and it pays off. Anybody that thinks you're just gonna go out there and turn the screen, find the fish, and catch them, like, you're crazy. Like, I fish against these guys, and they're on the water, and they practice that technique a ton to try to get that dialed in. So we're on this weird cusp in the industry, I think, of just which way is it going to go, or is it going to go any certain way? And it seems to be this weird balance now between the circuits, to where, depending where you're fishing, what you're doing, I mean, you're going to need both. So it should kind of level off that sales. And I've seen it in the retail stores already. There's been a reduction in the forward facing product, and there's kind of a balance back in with the regular product.
So you've definitely noticed
Yeah.
the demand shift with,
at least on shelves. Yeah. I would say, I don't know if orders wise, if you've seen a significant change.
Not yet.
Yeah. So
Got a feeling it's coming.
yeah.
So do you sell a lot of the FFS flukes, or
Well, when we first came out, started doing the FFS, we had a pretty good increase in orders on those. But over the last, probably say the last 6 months, it's kind of dropped off.
Which is probably when people learned that it wasn't that easy.
it's not just color by numbers and
Yeah,
I'm out there like, bite it.
well, and you could apply this to a lot of areas in this country today, but it's the discussions tend to be like on one pole or the other pole, right? I mean, it's like you turn the screen on, go to the fish, drop the line, pull it in, or there's the other camp. It's like, I don't want anything. I want just my knowledge and my 20 years on the water to do all that stuff. And it's somewhere in between is probably the answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think one of the better things about the forward facing would be for the crappie anglers.
Yeah.
Getting on the brush piles and being able to light it up and see what's around it.
Yeah.
Versus bass,
Which, I mean, that's really where the controversy started, was the crappie, because I can't speak for every state, but a significant amount of states I've lived in, there's rules on crappie limits.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason, like the size and the limitation of their reproduction capability, and cherry picking them out is the problem, right? And so as long as you have places like the Texas Department of Wildlife that does an amazing job of like the bass industry and things like that putting back in, and they're monitoring the situation, I think you can be okay. But I got it. That was where the biggest screams were coming from when this started, was just the ripping crappie every single day, every day. These guides were just, I mean, they're making a living, but
Pulling in 30,
mean,
40, 50 crappie at a time.
yeah,
You
if you're
see
pulling,
it on Facebook, right? I mean, tables full every day.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't put out like that. So the reproduction is not that level, and there's not stocking programs that are re-supporting those lakes. And so it doesn't work, right? You're changing the whole dynamic of the fish and the ecosystem and the environment and what's going on to produce those fish.
Yep.
And I would love it for my son to be able to go out when he's 30 or 40 and catch those fish. And unfortunately, it's just they won't
And
survive. if
Not
they
to
don't do that.
mention all these people that are making their own crappie trees and going out and dropping them and trying to change,
Yeah.
it changes the whole dynamics too.
Yeah.
Instead of
And that population probably isn't going like this. I mean, it's probably going to go like this, and then at some point, it's just going to kind of collapse for a period of time till it can One of the guys I do some fulfillment for, not this past summer before, he got forward facing sonar, and he went up north, and he's like, I had the most fun catching crappie. I mean, we limited out. He said it was great, and then we couldn't catch any more crappie because we'd caught all that we could. He said, but there was this other family there that weren't having any luck. So I said, I'll take you guys out tomorrow. So he took them out, and they all limited out. He said, it was awesome. There was like 90 crappie we brought back. He said, but then he says, but the flip side is I'm thinking to myself, can this sustain people taking 90 crappie out in 2 days in one boat? So it's, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm curious what the bigger sport game fish, what the impact is to them with forward facing. So my brother goes muskie fishing, and they typically just troll. So I've thought often about like, well, if I went back up to Ohio and I went to go muskie fishing, why wouldn't I just use forward facing and find those big, huge fish and throw at them?
Yeah, they show up, right?
Yeah, now I ain't got to burn my like gas and troll up and down the river everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I just want to go find them now and throw at them. But I'm curious if it's changing in the other industries, because this started with the big complaints from the crappie industry, which made sense for what you just stated. Now bass, they're saying like you're targeting the biggest bass that no one's ever targeted unless they got lucky at the right time of the year, like during the spawn or something like that, or you just knew from 20 years experience where there were places to go, ledges to fish. So I wonder those bigger game fish now, they start targeting those. That's where there could be even more concerns when it comes to not regulating some level of regulation for it. I think it's no different than whitetail deer hunting, right? We regulate deer hunting all across this country for a reason, is to keep the population, whether it's thinning the herd or letting the herd grow larger. The rules change every year for a reason. We do it for the offshore fishing, like Jarid does, the saltwater and stuff like that. So it's coming at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Like bass fishing since you've gotten into it.
Oh man. So we always fished a different part of the lake, and we always troll for walleye. That's what I was taught, and that's what I knew how to do, right?
Yeah.
So during the summer, a friend of ours we go fish for bass on this other side. So my son and my daughter and I went over there for a couple hours in July when we were there, and we caught a few and a couple northern out of there as well. But it's like a good time. So then I went up with two of my friends this end of September, and went up there, and he's like, I want to catch some fish. I said, let's go see if let's go fish the bass. And it's school's already started, so it's not near the boats out there. So we had the whole place to ourselves. And I mean, we just spent the whole day out there just trolling as slow as we could and just like pitching into holes, and it's all wild rice up there. And oh my goodness, it was, the blow up when that thing hits the water, and it's like, and it's not like catching a perch or something. I mean, you've got something, and they're fighting, and yeah, it was awesome. This is the first time I ever had a bass thumb. This is so cool. So yeah, it was great. Yeah, I'm definitely hooked. So now I'm gonna have to teach him how to use a bait caster, and
There you go.
Yeah, it was a good time though. We had great.
That's,
The only bad thing was I had these racks on the side of my boat to hang extra lures on and stuff.
Mhm.
And he was putting one of his bass back in the water and leaned over and stuck the hook into his thigh through his pants. Yeah, so we had to make a quick run to because he didn't think his tetanus was up to date. He pulled it out of the pliers. I didn't pass out or throw up or anything, but I'm surprised I didn't because he was just yanking on that thing. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
that's right.
yeah, we had a little adventure.
I thought I ripped his nose off his face one time. 'Cause he was standing behind me. I was up on the bow of the boat, and I was like, duck cast. I was like, duck. He didn't duck in time, and I came back and whipped it, and I felt it like hit. And I seen him go down. He grabs his face, and I looked, and I seen blood dripping. I was like, "Oh crap!" But luckily, it was just the bill of the crank I was using that got him right on the side of the nose.
So no hook, huh?
No hook, thank God.
No.
I bought a bigger boat in case we go fishing. Yeah.
See, that's the answer, right? Need a bigger boat.
Get a bugger.
That's right. Get a bigger boat.
Yeah. Nice, nice.
Now he knows not to stand behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So change a little bit here. So this is a little bit of a loaded topic, and you guys kind of alluded to it before, but we get multiple requests almost every week of people wanting free stuff. And I know you guys do some charity stuff. You see,
Yeah.
you hand out samples. I see stuff on the Facebook feeds of yours and other guys I know and don't know. People want something for nothing. And then, one of the brands we deal with saw some of his stuff up on the wall on some guy's Facebook marketplace. He was selling the shit, and getting it for free and then selling it. So how do you, I guess, how big of a issue is that for you? And then how do you decide like where you're going to put that dollars and effort in free stuff?
Yeah.
That's the new investors.
Yeah. So when we first started the company, it was all the time. Hey, can you send me some free stuff? Can this and that? With the pro staff, trying to work angles on that. And I think we ended up having the first go around. I think we had about 15 or 20 people in there. Constantly getting asked about free this, free that. And I finally got to the point where I sent a message out and I said, look, I was like, you don't get asked to work for free. Right. I was like, this is our business. We feed our families the same as you do. I was like, we don't mind helping people at times if it calls for it. However, keep in mind that this is our business. So anything that we make it's money.
Yeah.
So, that comes out of our pocket. So please limit, keep that to a limit, keep it to a minimum. And I think I went a little bit more in depth on that. But I ended up shutting it down, the pro staff, and I ended up creating another program with our ambassador program, because we're not a pro staff. I understand what a pro staff is. Promotional staff. You're there to promote, help promote a business, and that kind of thing. And most of the pro staffs that are out there, the bigger companies, they'll send a box of free stuff, free stuff out to people. But our ambassador program, that's just exactly what you are. Just like wherever you work at, whatever company you work for, you're an ambassador for them. So what you do on a daily basis reflects on you, and it'll reflect on who you are. And that's just my opinion. And I look at that from the military standpoint of me, because we were ambassadors for the military. So whatever we did in our daily lives reflected, greatly on what we did in the military. So we don't ask a whole lot from people that want to become ambassadors for us. If they do, then hey, that's outstanding. We appreciate it. And if you do certain things that do promote us, matter of fact, like this giveaway that we just did, people were promoting us. They were bringing in followers, and got us up over 2,000 followers, which I was like, wow, that's amazing. Stuff like that. I don't mind, throwing a few things. Hey, here you go. Try this stuff out. These are some of our new products. We appreciate what you guys do for us. Showing that appreciation to people is always a key too. So, but once you get that grip on it, and the people are always asking for the free stuff, once you get that dialed in, I mean, it literally has stopped. Once we got that under control, I think there's only one person that actually does ask for for me to send, put a couple things in there, to try out, and which for this guy, sometimes I don't mind, but there other times it's like, all right, let's wait off, hold off on this, give it a little while.
Pull it back a little.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty cool about it. So I'll help him out a little bit. He struggles, but he's a veteran himself, but so I don't mind taking care of him sometimes. But yeah, I think for the most part, though, we've got a pretty good mutual understanding with people when it comes to that.
Now, you guys just did something with Charlie a month or so ago, right? Charlie Moden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you? What was that? That was a kids event, right?
Yeah, it was a kids event at the church. So I guess the church that they attend out there in Waco, or whatever town they're in.
Yeah.
Can't even think of the name. It's right outside of Waco.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty good amount of young adults with some disabilities, and so they were putting on this. It was an overnight deal, and we went down there, brought a bunch of our bait making supplies, and we actually went down and made baits for them. Let them pick out their colors, what baits they wanted to make, and then they went out the next day and got to go fishing with the baits that they made. So that was pretty cool.
So you guys were kind of like the drug dealers then, getting people hooked on.
Yeah,
Doing it, right?
we were part of that group.
Nice.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun with it. Hearing some of the stories from these kids. One of them had lost his arm. Another one actually lost both of his arms, right?
Yeah.
Due to cancer, and it's things that touch your heart. And then seeing these kids going through what they're doing, and they're matter of fact, they're going hunting today. One of the kids actually got him a buck last weekend on a deer hunting trip that they went on, and it's like just seeing what these kids are doing is just absolutely amazing.
It makes you appreciate what you don't have to deal with, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. Okay, getting towards the end. I believe it or not, I've actually skipped over some stuff, but I love this. This is great. So what would you tell people in how they can best support your business, how they can best move the needle for Barracuda Baits?
I think Jared kind of said a little bit ago, like the followers is a huge thing, because every follower is a potential client, potential customer to buy a bait, right? So whether you're a fisherman or not, just like following and understanding like what it takes in the industry, or what we're doing, or what we're providing, any of that type of stuff. And you can reach out between Jared or myself to get a hold of Charlie if you want to contribute toward the kids' efforts and stuff like that, because that's a huge program and that's important to keep those type of things going. And by following us and following Charlie, you can see those different types of efforts that are ongoing. So I think those are big for helping the community. That's one of the things that's probably different for us. Like, do we want to sell baits? Yes. But I mean, I think you said it earlier, like breaking even, or you make a couple dollars to keep things going. And Jared's happy. And then we can give something back to keep supporting programs like drive up to see those kids and make baits and let them do whatever they want to do with the baits. That's truly satisfying and a great opportunity for us to be able to do that, like opening our eyes to other opportunities out there and letting those kids catch fish. So pushing those followers really helps just grow that environment, and then let them see the website. And then, if you order a bag of baits, give them a shot. Like just try them out. Like we're not promising you like a 10-pounder or hopes and dreams, but I think we make a really good quality product. Jared puts a lot of hard work into like the type of colors and the consistency in the material and how he does everything. Like it's funny, I can shoot the exact same bait as he does in the same mold, and just it doesn't work the same. Especially if it's dual shot. I hate doing dual shots, but as we got that, or the frogs, but that'd be my biggest pitch, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd agree.
The upside to that too, like you were talking about, the more you're involved in, there's no shortage of crap on Facebook these days, and so those stories and you see the people that are doing all those efforts and making that stuff. I mean, it gives you hope that it shows you those good things are still going on, and there's great people out there on every side of the spectrum that care about other people and are doing stuff to help other people for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So one more question. Well, two more questions. What are you most proud of with Barracuda Baits? And maybe we already touched on it, but
Would say what I'm most proud of is the fact that we continue to push forward. We've had our ups and downs. We've had, uh, stuff happens, especially in today's world of new businesses coming out, and small businesses. I've seen businesses shut down. Heck, even here in San Antonio, just businesses are shutting down because of construction. You can't get them. But for us being able to keep pushing forward and doing the things that we're doing, um, I'd say that's probably my proudest that I can think of.
My proudest is Jared. So I can't think back to the day that I like officially joined Barracuda Baits. It's probably been, I don't know, maybe just over a year, maybe like just over a year. It seems like it's been longer, but always wanted to go to the Bassmaster Classic. Always wanted to meet, Bill Dance, stuff like that. G-Man, Jared made that happen. And then meeting folks like Charlie and the stuff that they're doing, like from the JMB Foundation and the things that they're doing, that right there is enough for me. That just, that's it. Like I don't need anything else. So just like being able to go to the Classic, meet all those people, understand things. I got to meet Alton Jones Jr. My wife got to go with me, even though I got sick there too. Here I am sick again, but just. It's just been phenomenal ride, like going through that process. And I think I would just echo what Jared said, professionally and personally, there's always issues, but the fact that everybody else is closing doors, retail's closing down, and then Jared just keeps plugging away as we push through this. And just, it's as long as it's still fun.
Yep.
Right. And that's what Jared's key's been. He's like, hey, I got it. You're working and we're going back and forth and things like that. But as long as it's still fun and we're not, taking food off the table, then we can keep doing this. And really the kids make it exciting to keep going to the Classic. We have an event coming up hopefully in I think it's January.
Yeah.
Over in Alabama. So just seeing the community and being involved is super exciting. That really gets you pumped up for a while, and that adrenaline lasts a little bit.
Let me show you something on what the JMB Foundation does with these kids. Check this out.
that kid ain't never gonna forget that, is he?
No.
Right? So they do the hunting trips. They take those guys out on the on those like wheelchairs, right? On those like that's amazing.
Look at it. This kid, you would never think that he has any problems. He's living the best life.
He's a kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's every picture.
And it's not just kids; it's adults too.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
This is what we were a part of when we went up to up there with Charlie. Nothing these kids can't do.
Nice.
And Jimmy Bennett, oops,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I know who he
Yeah.
is.
So this gentleman here, this is
Yeah.
Charlie right here. This is at the church, and a lot of the kids that were there that night that we were there. But his boat, he's got it detailed out with a wrap, as you can see right here. For what is it, autism?
Autism, right?
Yeah.
So great guy. This kid right here was
Hilarious. He was hilarious at that thing.
he's having the time of his life.
If you could only tell he was happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're grinning from ear to ear.
But if you ever get a chance, check them out online. They're great family oriented people. They do a lot of stuff for the community, as you can see. Got the 4-H out there.
A soft spot for goats. We used to raise goats. So.
Oh man, we just had goat tacos a few weeks ago.
Did you? Nice. Nice. Very nice. So, anything else that you guys want people to know about the company, or you guys, or anything that we missed?
One thing that you missed is how much you support us.
Yeah.
Qwik Fishing. Yeah, I still remember the day I got a message from you on Messenger. Just reaching out, introducing yourself, and we just kind of clicked from there. We had the conversation, and you've done a lot of stuff for us, and we've done a lot for you. And our website wouldn't be what it is today, without you, because God knows I don't know what in the world I'm doing with it.
Thanks.
But yeah, you guys have supported us quite a bit, and we appreciate everything that you've done as well. So,
cool. I appreciate it's mutual. So,
absolutely.
Well, I've taken up a lot more of your time than I thought I would. This has been great, Jeff. It's been great to meet you and get to know you, and Jared actually have some time to do this. And I thank you for your time, and hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. You too.
Take care. Give the dog some pets for me and say hi. Talk to you later. Yep. Bye-bye. Just really quick to close, I just wanted to say thanks to Jared and Jeff, and these are like my favorite things to do is get to know these men and women behind the companies that we deal with. So whether you're on their website barracudabaits.com or you're on qwikfishing.com, remember that the people behind these companies are just that. They're people. I mean, they've got passion. They really enjoy what they're doing, and they produce a great product. And it feels good to support them, and we ask that you support them as well. Thanks. You all take care. Bye.